One of the UFC's most controversial fighters returns in the main event of Saturday's UFC 297 card. In that fight, Sean Strickland will make the first defense of his middleweight championship against top contender Dricus du Plessis. Strickland has divided the MMA fanbase with controversial comments, representing a shift in the UFC's willingness to mix politics and sports. Strickland pulled off a huge upset over Israel Adesanya to win the title in a fight that only came about because du Plessis was unable to face Adesanya when offered. In du Plessis, Strickland faces another man who rose to the top of the division with an upset over an elite fighter, having stopped Robert Whittaker in his most recent outing. Can't get enough boxing and MMA? Get the latest in the world of combat sports from two of the best in the business. Subscribe to Morning Combat with Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell for the best analysis and in-depth news, including a complete preview of UFC 297 below. With so much happening on Saturday night, let's take a closer look at the full fight card with the latest odds before we get to our staff predictions and picks for the PPV portion of the festivities. CBS Sports will also have live coverage of the fight with round-by-round scoring and blow-by-blow updates to keep you up to date throughout the night. With such a massive main event on tap, the crew at CBS Sports went ahead with predictions and picks for the main card. Here are your pick makers: Brent Brookhouse, combat sports writer; Brian Campbell, combat sports writer, co-host of Morning Combat; Shaquille Mahjouri, writer; Michael Mormile, producer; and Brandon Wise, senior editor. Campbell. For as perfect as Strickland was in upsetting Israel Adesanya in September, there's a reason why styles make fights. Strickland was nearly flawless in his striking execution that night, while controlling distance and using sound defense in close to frustrate the former champion. But the lack of takedown threat or physicality from Adesanya was a luxury that Strickland simply won't enjoy against the mammoth du Plessis. Even though DDP was much more raw upon his UFC arrival in 2020, the technical aspects of his game have evolved quickly, as evidenced in his own 2023 upset of former champion Robert Whittaker. Strickland has a history of problems with elite power punchers, which means it wouldn't be out of the question for du Plessis to get his hand raised via knockout. Brookhouse. It still feels like Strickland's win over Adesanya was as much on Adesanya having the worst night of his career as it was Strickland executing his game plan perfectly. That's not to take credit away from Strickland in any way, as he dominated one of the best fighters of the current era on the biggest night of his professional career and was nearly perfect doing so. But he isn't going to be treated with that same passive approach from du Plessis.